Welcome to the IRX exhibition. I'm Jason Smith from OmniCX. As you can see, this is not me, so apologies, but I do have his card. So, okay, just before we start off, can I just get a view of who we have in the audience? Hands up who works for a large retailer. Tesco's, John Lewis, getting smaller? Boots, okay, it's a good large retailer. Who's in a medium-sized retailer? So there's lots of other hands here of people who don't seem to be working in retail. Who's suppliers? A couple of people suppliers, okay. Okay, well, we'll carry on. So, Bhavish was going to attend. So Bhavish used to work for Gartner as an analyst around data. And he's come up with a number of interesting concepts about how data is being used within retailers and some of the challenges around it. I've just joined the company called OmniCX. This is now my third day, but I came from SaaS. And my role there was about data in retail and how it's being used. So I've been given the position to come up and look and act and sound and speak like Bhavish, and talk about the implications of data within a retailer. Now, OmniCX is mainly focused at mid-market, so we're not going after the people of Boots, but I'm sure the people like Boots and tier one retailers will understand some of the challenges that are approaching retailers around data and how it's used in the market, and especially with some regulations that are coming down the road. These regulations also apply to the mid-market, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that and just make sure that you're aware and understand some of the things that are going on. So data in retail has been used extensively to capture information and to talk about a customer life cycle and to interpret that, especially across an omnichannel environment, about what people are looking at, what people are doing, where they're visiting, what the propensity is to buy, and building a business model around a customer journey. Now, these models are deployed by big systems integrators, small boutiques, application vendors, to talk about this story about how their solutions fit into this customer life cycle and the relationship that retailers will have with them. Now, as well as these business models, the way you actually capture data covers a multitude of different environments. So you can see on the blue charts here, it's listening to events and activities. So when somebody goes to your website and starts browsing a piece of content, you can record that piece of data and you can use that as insight to start targeting them with a promotion. You recently viewed this, here's an email, here's a promotion, come back and buy the product. So we all know, and we've all been talking about this, and large retailers have been getting extensively building teams out extensively to manage and understand this process so you can actively target the customers with the right product at the right time and in the right channel. And a lot of agencies have gone out and they've built solutions and methodologies about how you engage your customers through these customer life cycles and how you segment your customers and you treat them in a different way to other customers who are visiting the site and what their behaviors are. So Boots are going through this. And lots of other retailers. So in the mid-market, are you thinking about this? Are you experiencing these sort of things? I'll take that as a yes, not maybe. Okay. Well, unfortunately, it's not a case of being able to sit around. It's not something that is something you buy out of a box. It's not something that you can implement once and then walk away with. A customer engagement is something that evolves over a period of time. And with that, you've got to collect new data and action it in a different way. You've got to compete against your competitors, you've got to compete against the other conditions in the marketplace, or even weather will have an influence on what your customers are going to do, where and when, and across which channel. So for the mid-market, this is also very important because a lot of organizations are now starting to build out a profile of their customers. Their customers are wanting to engage in a richer way and understand what the most appropriate piece of content is, what channel to buy on, or any other, using that data to enrich their experience. And mid-market retailers are also having to do this to compete against the tier ones, the likes of Amazon, the likes of eBay, the likes of the Tesco's, who are now moving into marketplaces as well, and providing a platform for everybody to sell their products on their platform as well as just their own. So it's becoming very, very competitive. And experience says that customers are more happy to pay more for a product if they're going to get the right experience and the right products and the right service than pay just on a reduced price on a discount. And we all know that it's not feasible to try and compete with a large organization purely on price, because it's not going to work. So with this, these are introducing new challenges. So everybody's heard of PCI compliance. So PCI compliance is a compliance where retailers have to manage the use of payment card details and make sure that they're used in a secure way. Now, PCI is not governed by law. It is down by the individual payment providers. So people like WorldPay and various other people will manage that and will fine you if you're not using the service in an appropriate way. However, there is a new regulation coming out called GDPR. Has anybody heard of that? Okay. GDPR is very, very important for anybody who sells stuff online. It is a European initiative, and it basically will restrict anybody from, or not restrict, but will impose a regulation on anybody who sells within the European Union, where they have to provide any customer information that a retailer has on that particular user. So in retail, you have explicit information, so my name and address, and maybe some other preferences I might put in there. I like these sort of particular things. But when you start enriching that with other data, like explicit information, so this person recently browsed these particular products, so I'm going to put them in a particular category, and I'm going to enrich that profile I have of that customer. It's now going to become law that you have to be able to share that information with your customer, or you can get fined, and that's law. And that will end up with some pretty significant fines being imposed. As you can see, up to 4% of an entity's global revenue is a potential fine. So I'm not an expert on GDPR. There are lots of people out there. But what the important message is here is anybody who's selling into retail needs to understand exactly what information you have on your customers, how you market to them, how you use that data, how you enrich that data, and you have to share it with them. And where you're looking in the mid-market, a lot of people will be using stuff like Magento or some other type of products, and they'll be enriching it. They have an email campaign tool, they have a CMS tool, a customer service tool, payment providers. Each of these different applications has their own unique customer profile. So what you end up with is building out a raft of repositories of data of your customers that you need to extract and pull that into one place. Now, you may want to be doing that to build insight into what your customer's doing, but you also have to be able to share that as part of the regulation back with your customers. So this presents a challenge to a lot of mid-market retailers. So my background is I've been in e-commerce for 20 years, and I used to work for a company called ATG, and we sold to people like Tesco's and John Lewis, and a number of other large retailers. But our proposition was a complete solution when we were ATG. And we was very similar to other people in the marketplace in that we had an e-commerce platform, we had content management, we had email capabilities, we had reporting and various other things. But over the last couple of years, people like ATG and Hybris and Demandware and IBM, they've all consolidated all their platforms, they've been acquired, and they've been added into a raft of other applications that build out a full customer experience platform. So just before I joined my last job at SaaS, I was at Oracle, and as a customer experience platform, we had ATG as a commerce platform, we had Right Now as customer service, we had a couple of email campaign management tools and various other things. Those are great if you are a tier one retailer, if you have a budget and you have the people to manage that type of environment. But if you're somebody in the mid-market, you've got capabilities that are way beyond your expertise and your manpower to manage that in your environment. And also, it'll make you tie into one vendor and have huge costs associated with it. So it presents a huge challenge. So in the should be orange, but in the pink there is you buy into an e-commerce platform by these large vendors these days, and you're committed to buying other solutions within their solution set, and they're not always built out as a single view of the customer. There's lots of mashed up technology in there. The second option for a mid-market retailer is to go down the route somewhere like a Magento, but there you have some capabilities around a basket and an online presence of a shop, and some capabilities for in-store and some call center. But when you want to add stuff like campaign management and email and social, then you need to get into the same situation of bolting on other technologies from other vendors. And this is where you end up with different technologies, different vendors, different life cycles, different integrations, and pulling all that together, and very difficult to manage that as a view of the customer, but also as a platform itself for a mid-market retailer in terms of the cost and the services and the people needed to drive it. The other option is to go right down to the end of the market to people like Shopify. Now these people provide a nice service which is fully digital, online. You go to the website, you add your catalog, and you can do very limited capabilities. But if you're looking to get the next stage up and have a much closer relationship and engagement with your customers, you're going to be left short, and you're going to need to add on additional components. Guess what goes in there? Anybody? OmniCX, the company that I now work for. So our proposition is all about providing a single platform for a mid-market retailer that provides a single view of the customer, a complete omnichannel customer engagement that includes e-commerce, email, social integration, store integration, contact centers, etc. So you have it all in one platform, one set of business tools, one set of reporting, one set of analytics to have that view. It's all in one box. It's provided as a SaaS solution, so you pay as you go. You don't need an IT department to run it. It's fully API, so if you want to extend and make the solution a lot more yours instead of using the templates that come out of the box, it's very accessible and extendable to do that. So you have the complete flexibility to build a unique platform to match the way that you, as a business, want to engage with your customers, and your customers want to engage with you. So I talked about this very briefly in terms of our positioning in the marketplace. On the top right-hand side are the big players. If you want to commit to a set of contracts with one organization and pay their fees and essentially be bullied in the mid-market, some people will want to go off and do that, and they'll have aspirations to grow their business where that is a viable proposition. And then down to the left-hand side, in the bottom left-hand side, you've got a solution which is a quick win out of the box to give you something up and running very quickly. But if you are really looking to engage your customers and add value and maintain costs and a lower cost of ownership as possible, but have a maximum impact and a relationship with your customers, then OmniCX sits into the middle of that solution. As I mentioned, we have different options. We're a SaaS-based model, so you can just subscribe, quick implementation, licenses deployed very quickly. You can be up and running in as long as it takes you to furnish and decorate the website. So furnish is provide your content, so what you're going to sell, and to decorate is to brand it yourselves. So if you want to move templates around, put different types of product categories in that, it's fully extensible for you to do that. And because it's a single platform, we bring all this data together. So you can start catching the explicit information that your customers generally give when they sign up to you, your name and address and that sort of stuff. You can start asking additional information about what your preferences are, what your sizes are, if you've got any particular food preferences or any other type of needs or anything else that can help navigate you to providing a better service to your customers. And then there's implicit information, which is we can start tracking and recording every interaction that goes on with the customer from what they look at to whenever they do a call, and you can start build that into a single profile. Once you've got that, then you can start doing all your segmentation of your customers. Who do you want to sell to? Who do you don't want to sell to is quite an interesting category for some people. But also it's along the lines of who will buy under a promotion and who won't. If somebody buys a new product when it's not on promotion, don't keep giving them promotions because you're giving away margin. So we can understand who those customers are, and we can start segmenting and targeting those people out of the box as a standard report. Campaigns, visit the website, basket abandonment is a traditional campaign, but who talks about customer lifecycle campaigns? So somebody who hasn't shopped with you for a while, you know when to go back to them. So you've got that closed loop of building that repeatable cycle of regenerating revenue from that customer and building a life cycle with them over multiple iterations and contacts across multiple different touch points. And the Customer 360 view gives you the ability to dive in and start analyzing. Our platform is based on the Microsoft Azure platform, so with that we get a lot of science capabilities to do the analytics, to do recommendations, and to do next best actions. So there's a lot of capabilities built into the platform, and because we're a single platform, we are GDPR ready. So we have all this data accessible, so when it becomes law and when you start to have to position this data to your customers, you can make it accessible to them through their profile. So you're not having to spend a huge amount of money collating that data, sorting it, and then making it accessible and visible to people when they need to see it. So I gave out earlier these little flyers. That's what the traditional market's like at the moment with all the different boxes. We come as one box. But if you read on the back, we're a new company being marketed as OmniCX. We have actually been around for quite a few years. Our solution originated from a project that was done for distribution of software. So chances are if you bought a new PC in the last couple of years, when you bought that PC and you got stuff like Microsoft Office, the fulfillment and the purchasing of that licensing software was actually done through this platform. Since then, we productized the platform into what we now know as OmniCX. We've extended it and we productized it, and it's being used by people like the Fragrance Store as their full digital platform for complete online and omnichannel customer engagement. What we're looking for is some reference customers. So there's a couple of areas that we're looking for. So if you're somebody who's looking to do some new work, launch a new platform, re-platform, add some new capabilities, or worried about the use of data, have a chat with us. If you turn around, our stand is just behind the theatre here. We're looking for customers to invest in, to build out some reference customers. We want to get our customers up here speaking about us, about how they use our technology and how we've helped them to use our technology. We're not about implementing a piece of software and then walking away. Our proposition is all about building out the services to work with your business as an extension to your business to enable you to grow your business and use the functionality more. So we're looking to bring insight of other retailers into your organization. So the people that we're hiring as customer engagement managers, they're actually people who worked in the retail marketplace as merchandisers. So they understand the complexities and the use of these tools, and will help you to grow your business. So I think I'm time.